I never thought I'd be the kind of grandmother who had to choose between her grandchildren. But when you watch a child being slowly erased from his own family, you don't get the luxury of neutrality anymore. My name doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm 72 years old. I worked 3 jobs to put my son through college, and I just made a decision that turned half my family against me. They're calling me manipulative, cruel, even senile. My daughter-in-law won't let me see either grandchild now. My son hasn't returned my calls in 6 weeks, but I do it again, because what they did to that little boy, what they're still doing, is something I can't unsee. And once you see it, you can't look away. When my son Michael called me 8 years ago to tell me he and his wife Lauren were adopting, I cried. Good tears. The kind that comes from watching your child build the family they've dreamed of. They'd been trying for 4 years. I'd sat with Lauren through 2 miscarriages, held her hand through failed IVF cycles, watched the hope drain from her eyes every time another month passed with no positive test. She was 34. Michael was 36. They were desperate. The adoption process took 18 months. I helped with the legal fees, $43,000, which I pulled from my retirement fund without hesitation. When they brought Caleb home, he was 6 months old, Korean American, the most beautiful baby I'd ever seen, with these enormous dark eyes that seemed to look right through you. I fell in love instantly. Michael and Lauren seemed happy, exhausted but happy. Lauren posted constantly on Facebook, every milestone, every smile, every tiny outfit. She called him our miracle. Michael walked around like he'd won the lottery. For the first year, everything seemed perfect. Then Lauren got pregnant. It was the kind of miracle you hear about, but never actually expect. After all those years of fertility treatments, after they'd given up entirely and moved on, nature decided to throw them a curveball. Lauren found out when Caleb was 14 months old. I remember the phone call. Lauren was sobbing, happy tears this time. "We're having a baby," she kept saying. "A biological baby." That word stuck with me. Biological. As if Caleb wasn't already theirs. I pushed the discomfort down. I told myself I was being oversensitive. They were excited. Of course they were. After everything they'd been through, this pregnancy felt like redemption. Sophia was born 9 months later, blonde and blue-eyed, like Lauren's side of the family. The family resemblance was instant and undeniable. She looked like she'd been photoshopped into their Christmas cards. And that's when things started to shift. It started small. Sophia got a new crib. Caleb's crib, the expensive convertible one I'd bought them, was still perfectly good, but Lauren said she wanted Sophia to have her own things. Okay, fine. New baby, new crib. I didn't push. Then it was the clothes. I noticed it when I visited for Sophia's first birthday. Caleb was 3 by then, running around in scuffed sneakers with a hole in the toe and a stained t-shirt that was clearly too small. Sophia, meanwhile, was dressed like a catalog model, brand new dress, matching bow, tiny designer shoes. "Caleb's clothes are looking a little rough," I said gently. Lauren laughed. "Oh, you know how boys are. He's so hard on his clothes. Plus, we're just passing down what we can. Money's tight with 2 kids. Money's tight." That phrase would become a refrain. I started buying Caleb clothes. New shoes, new jackets, new everything. Every time I visited, I'd bring him something. Lauren always thanked me, but there was something in her tone, something dismissive, like I was overstepping. At Sophia's second birthday party, I watched Caleb sit in the corner while 20 people sang to his little sister. He was 4. He didn't cry or throw a tantrum. He just sat there, eating a piece of cake by himself, watching. When I asked if they were planning a party for Caleb's birthday the next month, Lauren waved me off. "We'll do something small, just family. He's not really into big parties." He was 4. Every 4-year-old is into parties. But I told myself I was overreacting, reading too much into things. They loved both kids. Of course they did. When Caleb was 5 and Sophia was 3, Michael and Lauren bought a bigger house. 4 bedrooms, beautiful backyard, great school district. I helped with the down payment, $60,000, which left a significant dent in my savings. But I wanted my grandchildren to grow up somewhere safe and stable. The first time I visited, Lauren gave me the full tour. Master bedroom, guest room, Lauren's home office, and this is Sophia's room. It was a princess paradise. Canopy bed, custom mural on the wall, a chandelier, shelves overflowing with toys and books, a reading nook with a tiny armchair. It's beautiful. I said, "Can I see Caleb's room?" There was a pause, just half a second, but I caught it. Oh, he's in the smaller room at the end of the hall. He picked it himself. He likes the window. The smaller room was barely a room at all. It had been a storage space or maybe an oversized closet. There was a twin bed, a small dresser, and a handful of toys in a plastic bin. The walls were bare except for a single poster of a superhero. It was a guest room at best. At worst, it was a storage unit with a bed. "This is Caleb's room." I tried to keep my voice neutral. "He likes it," Lauren said quickly. "He's a simple kid. Doesn't need a lot of stuff." But Sophia's room. Sophia's younger. She's still in that imaginative phase. Caleb's almost 6. He's growing out of that stuff. I looked at the room again. There was no desk, no bookshelf, no space for him to be anything. I didn't say anything. Not then. But I started keeping a list in my head. Caleb's 6th birthday was on a Saturday in March. I asked Michael Weeks in advance what they were planning. "Just a small thing," he said. "Maybe pizza and a cake." Sophia's 4th birthday had been 2 months earlier. They'd rented a bouncy castle, hired a princess character, and invited 30 kids. There were goodie bags, a dessert table, and a photographer. I waited until the week of Caleb's birthday and asked again, "What time should I come over?" "Oh, we're actually just doing it Sunday after church. Just us. Nothing big." Sunday came. I arrived with presents, a new bike, a big Lego set, some clothes, books. Caleb's face lit up when he saw me. That kid loved me. He hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. We had pizza, store-bought cake, no decorations, no other kids. Caleb opened his presents, mostly for me, and said thank you in that overly polite way kids do when they've been trained not to ask for too much. Lauren scrolled on her phone through most of it. After the cake, Caleb asked if he could ride his new bike outside. Michael said yes, and I followed him out. He was beaming, wobbly on 2 wheels, shouting, "Grandma, look," every time he made it a few feet without falling. I was smiling. I was happy for him. Then I heard it, Lauren's voice, drifting through the kitchen window. "I still think we should have just combined it with Easter. Would have been easier." My blood went cold. I walked back inside. Lauren and Michael were standing near the sink. They didn't see me. "He doesn't even care about this stuff," Lauren continued. "He's low-key, not like Sophia." "I know," Michael said quietly. "And honestly, it's just easier to focus on her. She's at that age where everything's magical. Caleb's, I don't know. He's just different." "Different how?" I said. They both spun around. Lauren's face went red. "Mom, different how?" I repeated. "I didn't mean it like that." Lauren stammered. "I just meant he's more independent. He doesn't need as much." "As much as what? Attention? Love? Birthday parties?" "That's not fair," Michael said, his voice tight. "No," I said. "What's not fair is that little boy out there thinking he doesn't deserve the same things his sister gets." Lauren's face hardened. You don't know what it's like raising two kids. You don't get to come in here and judge us. I'm not judging. I'm observing. Then maybe you should observe less, she snapped. I left 20 minutes later. Caleb hugged me goodbye and whispered, "Thank you for my bike. Grandma?" I cried the whole drive home. I didn't bring it up again. Not directly, but I started watching more carefully. Sophia got piano lessons. Caleb asked for soccer, and they said it was too expensive right now. Sophia got a new tablet for her 5th birthday. Caleb's bike, my bike, sat in the garage with a flat tire for 3 months before I came over and fixed it myself. Every time I bought Caleb something, Lauren made a comment. "You're spoiling him. He's going to expect too much." We're trying to teach him gratitude. But Sophia's room kept filling up. Then, last November, I stopped by unannounced. I know, it's a boundary issue. But I wanted to drop off some early Christmas presents, and I thought I'd surprise them. I let myself in with the key they'd given me. The house was quiet. I heard voices in the kitchen. Lauren was on the phone. "Yeah, we're putting another 2,000 in this month," she said. "It's aggressive, but we want her to have options. You know, a full ride somewhere if we can manage it." I froze. "Private schools still on the table, too," Lauren continued. "We just want her to have every opportunity." I stepped into the doorway. "College fund." Lauren jumped. "Jesus, you scared me. You're saving for college?" "Yeah, of course. For Sophia." "What about Caleb?" She blinked. "What about him? Does he have a college fund?" There was a long silence. "We were working on it." "Working on it?" "Mom, it's complicated." "How is it complicated?" "He's older. He should have been first." Lauren's face shifted. Defensive now. "We started Sophia's fund when she was born. We didn't have the money when we adopted Caleb. We were drowning in legal fees, remember? I paid those fees. And we're grateful. So start one now." "We will. We have to prioritize right now. And Sophia's fund is already established, and Caleb doesn't matter." "That's not what I said. It's what you meant." She hung up the phone. Her face was stone. "You need to leave." "Lauren, get out." I left. But this time, I didn't cry. I made a plan. I called my estate attorney the next morning. His name is Richard, and he's handled my affairs for 20 years. "I want to change my will." I said, "Okay, what are we changing?" "Everything goes to Caleb." Silence. "Your grandson?" "Yes." "And nothing to Michael?" "Nothing." "Or the other grandchild?" "Nothing." "Mrs. I know what I'm doing, Richard." He sighed. "Walk me through it." So I did. I told him everything. The clothes, the bedroom, the birthdays, the college fund. I told him about the way Lauren looked at Caleb versus the way she looked at Sophia. I told him how my son had stopped defending his own child. Richard listened. When I finished, he said, "This is going to cause a lot of conflict." "I know. They could contest it." "Let them." "You're sure?" I thought about Caleb on his bike, the way he'd hugged me, the way he'd whispered, "Thank you," like he didn't expect anyone to give him anything. "I'm sure." We redrafted everything. The house, the savings, the stock portfolio, all of it in a trust for Caleb, managed by an independent trustee until he turned 25. Michael and Lauren would have no access, no control. I signed it in December. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't plan to tell them. I figured they'd find out after I died. And by then, I wouldn't have to deal with the fallout. But in February, Michael called me out of nowhere. "Mom, we need to talk about your will." My stomach dropped. "What about it?" "Lauren and I were talking, and we just want to make sure everything's set up correctly. You know, for the kids. It's set up fine. We just think it'd be good to review it together." Make sure it's fair. Fair. That word. It's fair, I said coldly. Mom, I'm leaving everything to Caleb. Silence. Long, heavy silence. What? You heard me. You're leaving everything to Caleb? Nothing to Sophia. That's correct. Are you insane? No, Michael. I'm awake. You can't do that. I already did. I heard Lauren's voice in the background, shrill and frantic. Michael put me on speaker. Why would you do this? Lauren shouted. What did we do? You know exactly what you did. We love both our kids. No, I said. You love Sophia. You tolerate Caleb. That's a lie. Is it? Where's his college fund? Lauren. Silence. Where's his bedroom? That's bigger than a closet. Where are his birthday parties? His piano lessons? His new clothes? We've been doing our best. Your best is making sure your biological child has everything while your adopted son gets scraps. Michael's voice was shaking. Mom, you don't understand. I understand perfectly, and I'm not going to let you erase that boy. This is our family, and he's my grandson. I'm not leaving my estate to people who treat him like he's disposable. Lauren started crying. You're ruining our lives. No, I said, I'm saving his life. I hung up. They tried everything. First, they sent emails, long, emotional essays about how hurt they were, how I'd misunderstood, how they'd always loved both kids equally. I didn't respond. Then Michael showed up at my house, banged on the door, shouting, Mom, open up. We need to talk about this. I didn't open the door. Then Lauren tried. She came alone, crying on my porch, begging me to reconsider. Please, she sobbed. Sophia's going to suffer because of this. She's just a little girl. So is Caleb, I said through the door. They turned the family against me. My sister called, furious. How could you do this to Michael? He's your son. And Caleb's his son. It's not the same. Why not? She didn't have an answer. Michael's father, my ex-husband, called me. You're being vindictive, he said. This is about control. This is about protection. You're going to regret this. I already regret not doing it sooner. They tried to visit. I refused. They tried to bring the kids. I refused. They started posting on Facebook vague, passive-aggressive things about family betrayal and conditional love. I blocked them. In April, I got a letter from a lawyer. Not my lawyer. Theirs. They were threatening to pursue grandparents' rights termination, claiming I was mentally unstable and a danger to the children's well-being. I called Richard immediately. They can't do that, he said. Not without proof. What kind of proof? Medical records, witnesses, documentation of actual harm. I haven't harmed anyone. Then they don't have a case. But it didn't matter. The message was clear. Play along, or you'll never see those kids again. I didn't play along. I also didn't see those kids again. By June, I was desperate. I hadn't seen Caleb in 5 months. I didn't know if he was okay. I didn't know if he was asking about me. So I hired a private investigator. I know how that sounds, but I needed to know. Her name was Angela. She was professional, discreet, and expensive. I gave her everything, addresses, schedules, school information. 2 weeks later, she came back with a report, and it was worse than I thought. Caleb had been pulled out of his old school. Sophia was still enrolled, but Caleb had been transferred to a different district, one with a lower rating, fewer resources. Why? I asked. Angela shrugged. The parents told the school he needed a better fit. But the school he's in now, it's underfunded, overcrowded. And Sophia, still in the private academy, they enrolled her in last year. I felt sick. There's more, Angela said. She slid a folder across the table. Inside were photos. Caleb, at a park, alone on a bench while Sophia played with other kids. Caleb, walking home from school by himself. Caleb, sitting in the back seat of the car while Lauren and Sophia laughed in the front. He's isolated, Angela said quietly. I don't know if it's intentional, but that kid is being left out of everything. What do I do? Legally, not much. They're his parents. But morally, she looked me in the eye. You're already doing it. In August, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello, Grandma? My heart stopped. Caleb. Yeah. His voice was small, shaky. Baby, where are you? Are you okay? I'm at school. I'm using the office phone. Does your mom know you're calling? No. What's wrong? He was quiet for a long time. Then, do you still love me? I started crying. Of course I do. Why would you ask that? Mom said you don't want to see me anymore. That's not true. She said you only care about money. Caleb, listen to me. I love you more than anything. Your mom won't let me see you, but that doesn't mean I stopped loving you. Do you understand? I think so. Are you okay? Are they treating you okay? Another long pause. I have to go, he whispered. Someone's coming. Caleb. The line went dead. I sat on the floor and sobbed for an hour. That phone call changed everything. I realized I couldn't just wait for them to come around. I couldn't trust the system to protect him. I had to build a case. So I did. I kept every email, every text, every Facebook post. I kept Angela's reports. I kept receipts. Every birthday present, every piece of clothing I bought, every time I'd helped financially. I documented every denial, every visit they'd refused, every time they'd blocked me from seeing him. And I waited. It happened in October. Lauren posted a photo on Facebook. It was Sophia's 7th birthday party. Huge event. Petting zoo, face painter, DJ. And in the background, barely visible, was Caleb, sitting alone at a table, not eating, not playing, just sitting. The caption read, "Our little princess is 7. Best day ever. No mention of Caleb." Someone commented, "Where's your son?" Lauren replied, "He's not feeling well. Didn't want to be in the pictures." But I could see him, right there, watching his sister's party like a ghost. I screenshot it, saved it, added it to the folder. In November, I got a call from Angela. "You're going to want to sit down for this," she said. She'd gotten access to Caleb's school records, legally through a contact. Attendance was fine. Grades were average. But there was a note from his teacher. Caleb seems withdrawn, rarely participates. When asked about home, he shuts down. Possible emotional neglect. Recommend counseling. There was a follow-up note from the principal. Parents declined counseling. Said he's just shy. I felt rage boil up in my chest. Can I use this? I asked. Not in court. Not directly. But if someone else raises concerns, CPS, a mandated reporter, it'll back you up. How do I make that happen? You don't. You wait. And you hope someone else sees what you're seeing. Thanksgiving, my sister hosted. I wasn't invited, but my niece was there. She posted photos. One of them showed the kids' table. Sophia was at the center, smiling, surrounded by cousins. Caleb was at the far end, alone, staring at his plate. I texted my niece. "Is Caleb okay?" She replied an hour later. "Yeah, he's fine. Just quiet." Lauren said he's going through a phase. What kind of phase? Moody, I guess. I wanted to scream. In December, I did something I'm not proud of. I called CPS. I didn't use my name. I gave them the address, described what I'd seen, mentioned the school report. "I'm worried about one of the children." I said, "I think he's being neglected." The woman on the phone took notes. "We'll send someone out to investigate." I hung up and immediately felt sick. But I didn't take it back. CPS showed up 3 days later. I know because Michael called me hysterical. What the fuck did you do? I don't know what you're talking about. CPS showed up at our house. They interviewed the kids. They went through Sophia's room, Caleb's room. And they said someone made an anonymous report about neglect. Was it valid? No. They cleared us, but now it's on our record. Maybe they should have looked harder. You did this. I didn't do anything. You're a vindictive, bitter old woman. I hung up. After the CPS visit, things got worse. Michael stopped pretending. He sent me an email. You've crossed a line. You've weaponized the system against us. You're trying to destroy our family because you didn't get your way. You'll never see Caleb or Sophia again. Don't contact us. Don't come to our house. If you do, I'll file a restraining order. I didn't respond, but I also didn't stop. In January, Angela called me with something new. I got audio. She said, of what? A conversation between your son and his wife outside the school. She sent me the file. I listened. Lauren's voice. I don't know what to do with him anymore. He's so difficult. Michael, he's not difficult. He's just not like Sophia. Lauren, exactly. Sophia's easy. She's ours. Caleb's always going to feel like, I don't know, a project. Michael, quieter. Don't say that. Lauren, I'm just being honest. I love him, but it's not the same. I listened to it 10 times. Then I sent it to Richard. This is it, he said. This is evidence of emotional bias. Can I use it in court? Maybe. In the court of public opinion? Definitely. I didn't post it online. I thought about it. God, I thought about it. But instead, I sent it to people who mattered. My sister, my ex-husband, Michael's best friend, Lauren's mother. I attached a note. This is what they really think of Caleb. This is why I changed my will. The fallout was nuclear. Lauren's mother called her, furious. My sister called Michael, horrified. His best friend stopped returning his calls. Michael sent me one final message. You've destroyed us. I wrote back. No, you destroyed yourself. By March, their social circle had collapsed. People stopped inviting them to things. Lauren quit her book club. Michael's co-workers started avoiding him. Word got out. I don't know how, but it did. Someone posted about it on a local mom's Facebook group. No names, but enough details that people figured it out. The comments were brutal. I always thought something was off about them. That poor boy. Adopted kids deserve the same love. This is disgusting. Lauren deleted her social media. In April, I got a call from Michael. Mom. His voice was broken. What? Lauren and I are separating. I didn't say anything. She can't handle it anymore. The judgment, the whispers. She blames me for not standing up to you. You didn't stand up for Caleb. I know. Silence. I need help, he said. I don't know what to do. Start by treating your son like your son. I'm trying. Try harder. I hung up. In June, Michael called again. Caleb wants to see you. My heart stopped. He does. Yeah, he's been asking. Does Lauren? Lauren doesn't get a say anymore. She moved out. I have primary custody. And Sophia, she's with me too. But Caleb, he's struggling. He needs you. 2 days later, Michael brought him over. Caleb was 8 now. Taller. Quieter. He stood in my doorway, nervous. Hi, Grandma. I pulled him into my arms and didn't let go. It's been 6 months since that day. Caleb comes over every weekend now. We bake cookies. We work on puzzles. He tells me about school, about his friends, about the things he likes. He started smiling again. Michael's in therapy. He's trying. It's slow, but he's trying. Lauren, and I don't speak. I don't think we ever will. Sophia's okay. She doesn't understand everything, but she's okay. As for me, I'm still leaving everything to Caleb. Not because I hate Sophia, not because I want to punish Michael, but because that little boy spent the first 8 years of his life being treated like he didn't matter. And I'm going to spend the rest of mine making sure he knows he does. I wrote this letter last week. I'm keeping it with my will. Dear Caleb, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And I'm so sorry. I'm not there to see the man you've become. I'm leaving you everything because I want you to have a future that no one can take from you. I want you to go to college. I want you to travel. I want you to have opportunities. But more than that, I want you to know that you were always wanted, always loved, always enough. Your parents made mistakes. I made mistakes too. But you were never the mistake. You were the miracle. Love, Grandma. I don't know if I did the right thing. I don't know if any of this will matter in the end. But I know I couldn't stand by and watch him disappear. So I made a choice, and I'd make it again.